What would happen if there was a break in the food chain? What would happen if there were the plants were taken out, or one of the animals was taken out of the food chain? Let's look at this food chain to figure out what's going on. We have the plant producer. I like the way this illustration put those two words together, plant producer. Then you have the grasshopper consumer. The grasshopper is eating the plant. The grasshopper gets energy from the plant. Okay, and so you have the frog consumer who eats the grasshopper and gets energy from the grasshopper. You have the snake consumer who's eating the frog that gets energy from the frog. Then you have an owl consumer who's the top of the food chain who's getting energy from the snake consumer. Now, let's say there was a person who wanted to get rid of all the insects in the yard. Maybe they were bothering him as a landowner, and he wanted to get rid of all the insects in the yard. So he sprayed something over the grass to kill all the grasshoppers. Okay, that happens. So how would that affect this particular food chain? So if the grasshoppers were taken away and there were no more grasshoppers, then the plants, you could have more plants growing because the grasshoppers would not be there to eat the plants. So you would have more plants that would not be eaten. So they would be growing more plants. Then the frog, wait a minute. The frog is eating the grasshopper. So if the frog had nothing to eat, then the frog either has a choice, can stay there and starve, or go move somewhere else and find other yards with grasshoppers. And that's usually what happens. If they have a choice, they can move on to find somewhere else to eat. That's why animals are mobile. We have a means to move around and find our food. All right, snake. But if the frog has moved on, then the snake has to either stay and starve or move on and do somebody else's yard. All right. Oh, what about the owl? If the owl's eating the snake and the snakes are gone, then the owls are gone. So just by removing one thing out of the food chain, we remove the grasshopper. They sprayed something and the grasshoppers all died, went away, whatever. There was a break in the chain. We have lots of plants growing, but the animals have moved on or gone away in other ways. So I want you to think about the little turtle that I put as a little picture on the science course of this canvas, the sea turtle. So when you have sea turtle, we try to protect our sea turtles because they swim in the ocean all their lives, but then they come to the beach and lay their eggs so that they can have more sea turtles and they can enjoy life in the ocean. We try to protect that. But if someone would come and dig up the eggs on the beach, or an animal would, or a person would destroy that, or maybe they built a house and then the sea turtle would come to the exact same place next year. And wait a minute, my land is gone. Now there's a house there, or there's a road there. What happens to that? So think about that break in the cycle of life. Also, if we cut down the forest and the animals use the forest to find food, where's their food? If we did something to change the environment, and that changed the way the animals lived and behaved, how does that affect the environment? How does that affect the animals? How does that affect the plants? Just think about that.